Hello, everybody. We're back temporarily. Episode 304, Between Two Wheels podcast. Look, we didn't get to finish stages 17, 18. We're not going to count them all. 17 through 21. So we're going to do that real quick today. And then we're going to talk about what's coming up. We've got World Championships. We've got Vuelta. We've got Christmas vacation.
Massive number of people have been upgrading. Yes,
there you go. You see the graceful limb that you were talking about before.
The race we've got yet again, and a victor then goes victory to an American, Andy Hampton.
The felt it go by. He looks at the Colombian rider. How are you doing?
Straight past Santiago Botero, and he's coming up to Pantani.
Armstrong is sitting for his last few hundred meters as we come towards the finish of this monumental stage. And Armstrong,
as we start to approach the line now, Pantani grits his teeth and accelerates and over the line.
Is going now to win stage number 15. Sepp Kuss, an emotional finish from Durango in the USA. Sepp Kuss wins.
And we're back. Tour de France 2023. It was pretty good. Look, last we left off with what was happening. Stage 16, we did the time trial. And what did I say? I said Jonas Vingegaard was not going to lose, one, and he was going to win by a good amount, and he did. He slaughtered everybody. And you can't take it into account like you see the Planche de Belfi 2020 where Tadej Pogačar destroys everybody on the stage 20, and Roglic was a ways back. This had Tadej Pogačar on stage 16, second place, putting a good solid time into Wout van Aert, but not being able to take on Vingegaard. So then stage 17. Look, I had to take a hiatus from this. I had some things at work that were crazy. Crazy. I'll probably do a crime podcast about it at some point. So it's just took on my time. I got interrupted with the Tour de France. And so here we are. And with that, I do want to thank our buddy Victor here. Comes in and he says, awesome Tour de France. Hi, Between Two Wheels. Hi, Victor. How you doing? Thanks for being here. Tour, look, coming into this, up to stage 16, it was fantastic. And when you take it on as a whole from stage 1 all the way through 21, it really was one of the best Tour de France's we've seen. Okay, now, when you look at the end, and it kind of had a little bit of a widening of the gap, especially we go into stage 17, up to Col de la Loze into Courchevel, that obviously played a different part. And you had it's kind of a seminal moment here from the Tour, but here was the climbs: Cat 1, Cat 2, HC, and then they dropped down into Courchevel, and that steep stuff up to Col de la Loze. We've talked about that from day one. We pinpointed that was going to be a seminal moment in this Tour, and it was. Now, with the time trial the day before, it wasn't as dramatic, but it still was, because someone in there said, I'm dead, go on without me. We'll get to that real quick. But there you have it. A lot of climbing. And look, before we had said, oh, this was a day I expected Sepp Kuss to do well. The problem is, though, just the way things shook up on the team strategies with Jumbo didn't quite work out that way. So you have this race. We'll just go through it. I'm not going to go through every stage here that we missed. But you coming into here, you have, now I'm forgetting everyone's names. So this guy, Ciccone, there you go. He's in the polka dot jersey. Look, Ciccone was just a step above Nilsen Powless. Nilsen needs to get there, what Nilsen needs to do next time. And I thought it was admirable what he took on and what his plan was, which was to take on the Tour on the Tour de France polka dot jersey, which I'm wearing right now. on the early stages. So he gets it. He was in there, for 13, 14 days. It looked great, but he just doesn't have quite the climbing prowess that Ciccone does to be able to take it on to the end. Victor says Jonas won 552,500 USD, right? I think so. It was something along the lines of that, and maybe we'll check out the winnings of the teams. We always post those up here, and so we can talk about it. But Ciccone ends up solidifying himself for Trek Little Trek. Here's the stage we got here, and we're just going to break through to Col de la Loze. Brutal climb, 24% near the top there, and it was going to be significant. Now, right away, Tadej Pogačar, and I don't know if this had an effect on his racing that day, but he goes down, not hard, but they're on a climb. It's early on, and he just crossed over wheels with Felix Gall or one of these guys right next to Jonas, and he just went down. Like, we didn't really have those kind of problems with Jonas, so he had a little blood in his knee. It wasn't looking so great. They had to break up the road. Several guys were up there. Felix Gall was up there, several other different ones that you wanted to make for the break. And then the team had, the team Jumbo had everything pretty much locked down. Okay. And they started riding hard. And next thing you know, you've got, let's not get into too much. I don't want to break this down too much here, but AG2R was up there. You got Ciccone getting kicked out of there. And next thing you know, you've got Felix Gall making it. And what else did you have? You had Tadej Pogačar getting dropped from the main group. And he says at one point, I'm dead. I can't do it. And then Jonas uses everybody. You had up in the break. You had, I'm forgetting all these guys' names here. The Kelderman was up there. Yeah. And with Tish Benoot, there you go. Tish Benoot was up there as well. So Tish drops back, gets Jonas. He takes off, dumps Sepp Kuss and some of these other guys, and just starts flying his way up the top. Now you've got Adam Yates trying to do this thing. He's trying to claw his way on, and Tadej's done. But you had Carlos, what's his name? I'm forgetting. I take a week off and I forget everyone's names, but his teammate that used to have a lot of trouble with the Movistar team, he ends up sticking with Tadej and does great work for him to at least try to keep things intact. Then Tish Benoot gets off, and then Jonas is on his own. You've got Simon Yates scared, but then Jonas catches up with Kelderman, and then they have this car incident and motorbikes. And this gentleman right here is a French rider, used to ride for not Direct Energy, as well as kind of the team that originated for that. He actually gets suspended the next day for that, but it wasn't his fault. This was the fault. This whole thing here wasn't the crowds, but this car. This is the tour director's car, and they didn't take the brunt of it. Meanwhile, up front, you've got Felix Gall making it. Simon Yates, second place, is really working hard to try to catch him. He can't close this down. It juggers between 15, 20 plus seconds over the top, and then they drop it down into Courchevel, and Felix Gall just says no thanks and continues on. Now, what was interesting is they come up to this airfield. By the way, if I've checked this place out in Courchevel, it's very interesting. The tour is finished there a bunch of times. This airfield there is one of the most dangerous airfields in the world. It's kind of interesting. You have it up on a mountain, and to do so, short runway. What do? They have a steep ramp to come in, and it was. So these guys coming over the top. Look at that here. The steep ramp coming over the top. Felix Gall gets a great win. Simon Yates comes in for second place, and then you've got Bilbao and Jonas Vingegaard coming in. How far was Jonas back there? 155 off of the win. Yeah, Yates, Tadej comes in there further about. Will Kelderman. Tadej loses 7 minutes to 37 to the winner on the day, but he drops even more time to Jonas. And there you go. Felix Gall, Yates, Bilbao, Vingegaard, Gaudu kind of moves his way up. Johannesson, Harper, Micah, Adam Yates, and Kelderman. That's your top 10 right there. So there you go. The Gal. Let's see if we get the GC. Jonas, feeling good. There you go. Sepp Kuss still staying in the top 10 as far as you go on that one. Now, I'm not going to break through each and every stage like that, because it's just, I'll give you the highlights of what we have. And really it comes down to this one. And then it comes down to like stage 20. So we had stage 17, we just saw that. 18 comes in here, and this was a little bit more of a little more mellow. Results from that one. Casper Asgreen. So this is where Soudal Quick Steps finally starts to get things rolling. Casper Asgreen gets in a breakaway and he smokes Pascal Icon on the line of Lotto Destiny, along with Jonas Abramson, and then Jesper Philipsen. I mean, that was really close. It was actually, they got same time and they should have been caught, but Alpecin de Koninck, who had been doing great work for Jesper Philipsen all night, remember, he got 4 stage wins already. They miss out another shot here and it didn't quite get it. There's some tactics that go on play here, which are kind of stupid that I felt that shouldn't have happened. But as far as the GC goes, Pogacar, once again, he's still up there. There was really no change that you had on through stage 18. Stage 19 was almost a repeat of what you had, but this time it was Mohoric up there with Casper Asgreen. It was a bike throw to the line, and it looked like the last person to kind of throw got the win, or the first one maybe on that one. And Mohoric barely beats out Asgreen. Now, I said this earlier in the tour, which was when Pale Bilbao won. His interview was fantastic. He took a little extra time. His only chance, you get a stage winner. You're not like Jonas where you're in the hot seat every day getting interviewed. And he took his time to make an interview count. And sometimes you're so emotional of, it's just happened. You're tired. You don't really know what to say. You're just happy to be there and you maybe don't want to interfere with what's kind of going on. But he took his time. He said his piece and it was fantastic. You know what? Mohoric, his teammate, did this. I don't know what their PR is doing to help these guys, but Mohoric did another fantastic interview. And I do implore you to go and check it out. Basically just saying the hard work he's put into this. Sometimes you just question yourself, even though you're getting results, you question yourself. And then he's like, look, Asgreen is so strong. You feel bad that you take a win from someone else, but yet you need to as well. And I thought it was just a great breakdown of the human emotion and everything that took place there. No change on the GC for those guys. But Mohoric gets a win over Asgreen, who almost, we're talking millimeters here, getting that. Ben O'Connor was up in that break as well. And then once again, Jesper Philipsen gets the field sprint, just 39 seconds behind these guys. They couldn't close it down. He was in position once again to do so. He could have had 5, he could have had 6 stage wins, but he missed out once again. So once again, the most dominant sprinter of this tour. Then you have stage 20, and we had on there, we had a little bit of a climbing going on here. This was the Saturday before the end. It was some good stuff, but once again, it looks like Tadej somewhat came back into his own. He looked pretty good. Vingegaard was looking fine. He was not going to get ridden off the wheel. The problem you had for Jumbo, at least early on in this stage, right away, Sepp Kuss goes down in a crash along with Carlos Rodriguez. They both hit their faces, and Sepp Kuss had blood going everywhere on his face. It was all down his face, and he loses like 20 minutes. Now he drops from the top from 9th, I think, to 12th, which is still a really strong showing considering what he went through on this stage. But Carlos Rodriguez didn't suffer quite as bad, was able to kind of get back up and tried to fight his way into the finish. But in the end, you really just had the results as it comes out here. Tadej comes out, gets the win, but it looked like Jonas at any point could have actually overtaken him. Felix Gall is up there right with him. Jonas, then you got the Yates brothers, Barguil, Pinot, Bilbao, Jonasson, Phillips, Micah, Jai Hindley losing a little bit there. And in the end, the GC, you see here the breakdown of Sepp Kuss losing 3 places. These people move up 3. Simon Yates creeps his way up into 4th, and Carlos Rodriguez drops down a place. So you have first, and this is really what it locks it in at Jonas first, Tadej second at 7:30, 7:29, Adam Yates at 10:56, and then Simon Yates at 12:23, Bilbao and whatnot. Sepp Kuss, once again, losing about 20 minutes on the day. Actually, should we take a look here? How much he did lose? Sepp Kuss, there you go. 20:39, loses on the win from the top guys and drops down. So but he's still, what is he? 12th for the tour there. Then we come into the final stage. This final stage is always annoying to me. And part of the reason it's annoying is due to the fact that they make a cool stage about as boring as possible, which coming into the finish, it's just all the early stuff with their drinking, their pictures. I'm just bored. They started late, so it's even later start. And then they finally get to the sprint, and maybe we'll take a look at that. I actually would like to take a look at the, maybe we could find this here. Let's see. Let's go to GCN. By the way, who did you, I fully expected Jasper Philipsen once again to take the win on the day. And did he? Well, let's see, stage 21 Tour de France. Sorry, I didn't have this queued up. There you go. Highlights. Okay. Let's move this over, and then we'll check out the highlights here, kind of like how we did before. But we don't want to do, look, well, there they go. Oh, look. Oh, there's the face of Carlos Rodriguez. It's all beat up, a little bloodied, better for wear. Jonas coming into Paris. They do a few laps of the Champs. There's Campenarts. He gets the most aggressive rider trophy. What this little Trek team here? I don't know what this little. Oh, this is probably all the Nether guys from Denmark. Yeah, that's the Denmark guys. So they come in, and once again, race starts, and right off the bat, you got Pogačar taking off up the road, and I think it was like Van Hooijdonk goes with him, and look, that's just not going to happen. It's going to come back for a sprint. Exactly what we expect, but it's a beautiful race we got going on through here. Teams are lining out, 7K to go. More stuff. I didn't really see any wrecks or anything. And in the end, here we go for the finish. They come around the final corner, and so they did a little bit as far as Deceuninck Quick-Step. I think they took off a little bit too late or too early, and they put Mathieu van der Poel in front a little bit earlier than he needed to. I really thought at this point that Philipsen was going to do it, or Groenewegen. Groenewegen kicks. Van der Poel kind of gets in the way. Philipsen's on his wheel. Philipsen starts to come around, and everything's looking good. You've got Philipsen with a bike throw, but what is this guy? Musse? He's out there. He ends up getting the win by a just fraction. Look at that. About half, well, not even half of the rim. It's just a few centimeters that he ends up getting the win for Bora. So Bora comes away with the win. Meus gets it. Philipsen, Groenewegen, Pedersen, Boy, Case Bull, Girmay, Concard. And let's take a look at these guys. I mean, so Philipsen obviously had a magical tour. 4 wins, 2 other ones that he could have had. So he could have had 6. Possibly the bike throw here. It could have been 7 wins for him on the tour when this came in so heavy sprint. Guys, and I think he was just labored a little bit at the end. I think by the way, Philipsen showed that he was on fire and he was racing, and even those last 2 that he had a chance, what is he calling, 18 and 19, that he had a chance at doing back-to-back wins there. He was just missing out, but he was winning the sprints. He's beating other guys. And but for on stage 18, where he played some stupid tactics, going up the road, trying to be in a little small break, he could have had these in the bag. He was riding really well, but coming down on the finish, it's just a little bit different. This is more of just a bull sprint from the go. You would expect Philipsen to get it, and Groenewegen I would have expected to have had at least 1 win this tour. He didn't have it. Pedersen did get a win. Case Bull, he was leading out. He was supposed to be leading out. Mark Cavendish at one point. Girmay, I actually expected him to be doing better in this. Coquard, I mean, look, for him, Coquard could get top 10 with no problem. Almost every time you're like, Coquard going to be in the top 10? Yeah, he's going to be in the top 10. Is he going to win? No, he's not going to win, but he could get in the top 10. As far as Meus, I didn't expect him to be up there as well, but he did. Team comes across, Jumbo for the whole team, comes in there. Nice job. Campenarts get the most aggressive rider for the entire tour. Jumbo wins for the team. Quite impressed. Did they finish with everybody? No, Wout went home. There's Sepp Kuss's face, a little beat up. But one of the best domestiques. Tadej gets the young rider jersey. It's 26. It's under 26. So it's 25, whatever. The best one's for 25 and under. There you go. Pogačar wins that quite easily, but he won't qualify for that one next year, so he's done and over. Ciccone wins the climber's jersey. Gall gets 2nd. Vingegaard, Paulus, they're in 4th place, though. Pretty solid. Look, sometimes you see where the guy that wins the tours, win in this category as well. So it was nice to see Vingegaard didn't get the win here. Paulus is right up there. Pogačar, this is some heady climbers. Skilmos had a great race. So did Kwiatkowski, but Skilmos had a great race racing for Ciccone. Hindley, he ended up doing pretty well as well. But there's you got for this team did fairly good for Philipsen. He obviously got the green jersey by far, 377 to 258. It wasn't even close. And then obviously Jonas comes in with the win. Vingegaard gets first place with Pogacar, Yates, Balbo. Let's see, Hindley dropped down to 7th. I'd expected him to get second. So there you go. 2 UAE riders on the podium. Not too bad. I mean, they're going to end up doing well, make some a little bit of money. We'll see if we can find the money shots for this one. Let's see here. Let's see. Tour de France winnings 2023. I know I've seen this somewhere. So prize money. There we go. How much did the yellow jersey make? So like I enjoyed the tour. I mean, for the most part, right? Here we go. So Vingegaard, second winner, second time he's won. There we go. Total prize list for, this is in euros, and the overall winning classification receives 20% of that figure, taking home 500,000. So first place was 500, 200. So this is just the winnings for the placing into the top 20. Hey, look at that. Sepp Kuss gets 2,700. Look at the breakdown though. This is typical of bike racing. I did a race, if you guys ever did crit racing in Boise, it's the Boise crit. Tons of money there. This was in the late 90s. Went in there and did it. I think I was 7th. I want to say something like that. I did a really good result, and it's at night. It's twilight, so they give you your money. And I'd ridden my bike to the race, and so I didn't even look at the envelope. I just put it in my pocket and kind of ride back to the hotel in a little shady part of town. So I ride back through. I didn't even look at it because I'm like, I've got a lot of cash in here. 7th place when they're paying out like $20,000, and I get back and it's literally like $120. I'm like, what? And I actually called the organizers the next day, and I got a breakdown, and it's like, no, it went from top winner was like 10, and then it dropped so fast. And by the time it was like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and they paid like 20 deep. It was like dollar difference between all those places. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I flew out here, I avoided some crashes, got a top 10 for this. But that's just the way it is. Every other finisher in the top 160 place reads $1,000 in Paris. Okay. Winning a stage gets you 11K euros. Green and polka dot jersey, you get 25. Okay. So look, Nelson Palace got himself a little bit there. Polka dot. I wish they broke down what teams got what though. This really didn't. This just says who wins the thing. So maybe we can. Ayo, that's not what I wanted. Let's go back here. I thought I saw a whole thing. General classification. How much is a 23 prize list? Prize money. How much? It's not giving me. It's not giving it to you people. Sorry. Maybe I'll do that on the next thing coming up. Next thing, let's take a look here at, we got Worlds coming up. Look, so maybe we should look at the Americans. Let's do that. Okay, let's go back here to Tour de France. By the way, did you watch the women's race? I didn't. I started to watch it, and immediately their tactics are so bad. Do you guys remember during the tour, I played a clip from Cycling Podcast. Who was it? I'm trying to remember her name. She guessed on there, and she was just confused why Pogacar or Vingegaard would not attack from like 50K out. She goes, I don't understand. And I played the clip because I'm like, well, honey, no offense, but this is ridiculous. You're not going to do that in the tour when it's just going to sit. That was the problem. That was the one day that Jonas lost some time. It was up to Tourmalet. He pulled Pogacar up to the top, pulled him down the bottom, and then tried to pull him up the finish. Col de what was it? I can actually find it here. Grand Calibide, no, the Comble, no, that's the time trial. There you go. Caracat-Cambasque. That was the one. Caracat-Cambasque. And then he starts to pull him up there, and then Pogacar attacks him. Why? Because he just sat on for like 20, 30K and just let and Vingegaard. And then we just saw it last year on the Grand Galibier, where it was the opposite, where Pogacar is trying to get rid of Roglic and Vingegaard, and then just pulls Vingegaard all the way to the top, and then Vingegaard attacks him. So you can't do that. And then I was watching some of the Tour Feminine, and it's just that kind of stuff. And I was like, come talk to me when you guys are ready to play ball, like adults. Okay, so we'll just go here to the finish. Results, there we go. GC, all nations. United States, there we go. Sepp Kuss gets 12th. Vermaak, Kevin Vermaak, he was in a break, I want to say like maybe 18 or 19. Look at this though. I mean, this is the difference here of everyone. Lawson Craddock did a bunch of work in the early middle stages for Simon Yates. So God bless him for getting 4 hours behind. That's no big deal. He did a lot of work. Nilson Powless, 3 hours 37 for 66th place. He also was in the mix a lot early on, trying to get those mountain classification. Kevin Vermaak, early, remember he was riding for Romain Bardet, and Romain Bardet crashes out, so he doesn't finish. But Kevin, kind of had a little different role, gotten a few breaks. But then you have Sepp Kuss. Sepp Kuss loses 20 minutes due to a face crash, planting his face into the ground. And in the 12th place, a legitimate top 10, no problem, would have been otherwise. And if things play out, I once again, I would like to see him play his cards a little bit differently in a Grand Tour, just to see how it goes. The rumor has it he's riding the Vuelta. Now, the Vuelta is going to be magical because you've got Geraint Thomas, you've got Remco Evenepoel, you've got Vingegaard, you've got Roglic. Who else? Tadej? Come on, Tadej, join in. And Sepp Kuss reportedly is going to be riding for Jumbo. That'll be his third Grand Tour. He's turned into Adam Hansen. Remember Adam Hansen used to just, all he would do is ride Grand Tours. He rode 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for like multiple years in a row. And it was crazy thing that he did. I think it was like 10, 12 or something like that. And that's all he did. He really was like, I wouldn't train. I'd just ride Grand Tours. And this is kind of just how it worked. So anyway, the Americans did pretty good. That's what it is. 4 of them finished. When it started out, remember we had Quinn Simmons was in there. Anybody else? I don't know if there was there 6 to begin with? We could just easily go up to stage 1 and see who was in there on stage 1 for the Americans. Then we'll be able to see Quinn Simmons. Oh, Matteo Jorgensen almost won a stage up to Puy de Dôme. How did I, at some point I'll have to go through and rate all the riders, rate the teams, and see how they actually did and what we think of them. I mean, Jumbo wasn't flawless, but Vingegaard was absolutely on a tear. The bad days he had, you can easily say he wasn't having bad days. They were just getting dropped from, like you remember, I told you Colcom Gas, whatever the name of that place, I just made something up, so it said some syllables, where Pogacar dropped him, but he was still holding a distance there. He was fighting, trying to come back, and you can see that. Puy de Dôme, same thing. He holds at a distance, but he's fighting. He's not when you're getting dropped and you're just having, like you've seen Pogacar do, getting blown out. He did not have those kind of situations. And then the time trial. I mean, that was ridiculous. People talk about this. I would actually implore you to go watch. I should go look and find it though. Greg LeMond just recently did an interview with some Irish fuck. Did I say that? Some Irish bloke. And it was fantastic. 30 minutes in, and I was instantly impressed with Greg LeMond's knowledge of training, power meters, VAM, watts per kilo, everything. And he breaks down why he doesn't think riders nowadays are doping, and that the VAM and some of these other things aren't exactly how you think they are. So I thought it was actually fantastic. Okay. Victor comes in here. Were you prepared for the riders losing strength and getting caught breakaways during the tour? Where are you prepared? I'm not sure I understand that question, but they do look, that's exactly what happens during the race. Right. And it's not so much, they always talk about this. I think it's somewhat of a myth, which is riders riding into and getting stronger in the race. I don't think that's the case. I think riders get less weak than other riders, and the fatigue treats everyone differently. Now, it's amazing to see riders sprinting, and this happens. You're doing a race and you're able to still somehow sprint really hard at the end. This is just what happens, but I don't think riders are necessarily riding themselves into more fitness. So yes, this is what happens. The brakes don't necessarily, but it's a two-way sword, right? The brake is going up the road, and it maybe doesn't get caught because the teams, you had started to have sprinters teams getting shelled out, or they weren't in the mix and they weren't going to start pulling. I mean, Mark Cavendish isn't there. Jakobsen wasn't there. So there's teams that weren't interested in pulling brakes back. That's why you saw Casper Asgreen, for example, up the road. So brakes aren't necessarily coming back, but then they're getting tired. So, you know, anyway, it's a two-edged sword in a sense. But we've got world championships coming up here. Do they show a list of everybody? This is the women. Do we care about that? I mean, it's nice that they're racing too. Let's do the men. That's really the one I'm looking for. Australia, they got 2 up there. I mean, this might be a full contingent for some of these teams because they may not have very many riders. Wout is doing it. Evenepoel, Colombia, Vargas. Who's that? Don't know. Who's Americans? Who are they showing here? Magnus Sheffield and Brandon McNulty. Oh, it's cool to see Magnus. Remember, he was in the same wreck that went down as Gino Mater. So it's good to see Magnus at least on the start list coming in here. This can't be a full list of everyone. Tade's in here. It will be interesting to see how this actually goes. I was going to see, if I could find, where is the, I saw it earlier, the climb. This isn't going to show it. Oh, well, that's right. Anyway, the time trial, the World Championships coming up. It'll be interesting to see it. Like coming off just 2 weeks off of the, and then we had Classica San Sebastian and Remco and Evenepoel got up there with Pello Bilbao and Felix Gall was chasing. I'm trying to remember. There was one more guy, Alexei, not Lutsenko. Okay. Now I'm going to have to, it was a Bora rider though. And Remco just destroyed them. And it wasn't even close. And I was a little bit disappointed because they got rid of the Bora rider. And then it was just Pello Bilbao and Remco coming down for the last, 3-4K. And Bilbao takes over. In the last K even. It's like the last 2K, he pulls in, then Remco takes another pull. This other guy's not going to catch them. And he's going to have a sprint. Bilbao has a decent one. So you think maybe he has a chance. But then he leads him out. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And then there was just other tactics that went on. And then what Remco just like puts the hammer down and destroyed them all. So I think that's 3. He's won the Classica San Sebastian, which is pretty solid. So, okay, that's all we're going to do for tonight. I'm about done with this. But did I like the tour? Yes. I would have liked a little bit different mix on the sprinting. But man, the way they did this tour, I will say, was fantastic. It'll be interesting. I would encourage you to, like I said, go watch the Greg LeMond, search for that one. It was just a recent interview. It was actually during the tour. Also check out Chris Horner's videos. He did one just recently about the breakdown of the tour and the Pogačar specifically having trouble in the tours. And yes, you go all the way back to the Vuelta he did, 2019, 2018, I think it was 2019. And he's having some trouble. So, if he gets that straightened out, man, I would just get Roglic on a different team. You got Remco, you got Thomas, Vinigo, all these guys. Fantastic. All right, everybody. Take care. Thanks for joining in. We will see you. Bye-bye.